welcome to another, yet the first episode of Day to Day with. Okay, wait. Let me get right on IG. All right, so let me get my life together on Instagram, friends. Okay, so welcome. I'm Dorothy Enriquez. If this is your first time tuning in, I am the CEO and principal consultant of the Elevate Collective. We're official. We out here. So I'm trying to go live on Instagram too and make sure that I'm on the right Instagram account. Welcome. Hello, Facebook. So good to see you all. Okay. So today's topic is transition like a pro. I feel like we are always talking about transitioning. Maybe you had a chance to watch my reel today where I was talking about can we do we really have to look at our leadership if we're going to transition? Like do we have to look at our leadership? Why can't we just transition in peace? So, I want to talk about how to transition like a pro because here's what we know for sure. All the research talks about how long it takes for folks to transition. It takes a second, right? And sometimes, if we haven't done our due diligence, we do not transition as well or as smoothly as we could if we did what we could have done to make a bumpy ride a little less bumpy. What can we do? How can we get set up for success? So, again, I'm Dorothy Enriquez. I am the CEO and principal consultant of the Elevate Collective. If you missed the leadership, it is available on Facebook and YouTube for you to catch up with all the announcements, all of the news, and all of the things. But if you've been keeping up, you saw that we had winners for swag. Um, we've got swag including Elevate mugs. We've got our new leadership notebook, chock full with inspirational quotes. As you can see, I've got paper in here because I already started using my notebook. You know, leaders take notes. So if you love this notebook, you can order your own notebook. There's never been a better time to be a lady leader. If you've been tuning in for the last several months, you know that that is one of the absolutes of leadership. And that is one of the things that we absolutely believe here at the Elevate Collective. There's never been a better time. So why not jump in? Okay, wait, I feel like I'm a little frozen on Facebook. What's happening here? All right, let's see. Looks like we caught up. So let's talk about the learning curve that is leadership. Leadership absolutely has a learning curve. And I think that if we've been alive for any amount of time, we have learned about this learning curve the hard way. We've been zonked over the head a couple times, and it's just kind of been like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. Think about the transition from elementary school to middle school. That was tough. Think about the transition from middle school to high school. And depending on where you went to school in the country or out of the country, that determines how quickly you lost your playground. Think about the transition from high school to the world of work, and all of a sudden you've lost summer break, right? All of these transitions, sometimes we're prepared for it, sometimes we're not so prepared for it. And I think college is a really good example if you went to college because that first semester, a lot of us failed that first semester, or even if we didn't fail all the way, our GPA was not as high as it was that last semester, senior year of high school, because we were in the middle of transition. Leadership has a learning curve. Hey, Erica, shoulder roll. So let's talk about how we can plan for successful transitions. Transitions are inevitable, right? Transitions go with leadership like peanut butter goes with jelly. They're going to come. So, what can we do as leaders to be as prepared as possible? So, number one, that means that we have to be intentional. We can't just be out here just flapping in the wind like a loose house dress. We got to be intentional because we know transitions are coming. Some of the transitions we will see coming from a mile away, and some of those transitions, I promise you, we gonna trip over them, right? And it's like, oh, I was not expecting that. But I think once we have some of these elements in our back pocket, we can be more equipped as the transitions continue to come our way and into our direction and in our sphere of influence, right? So, number one, don't move too quickly, right? I think this is particularly important because if y'all have been kicking it with me, because I see you on Facebook, I see y'all on Instagram, if you've been kicking it with me, then you know I started rebranding in Q3, Q4 of last year, like end of Q3 going into early Q4. And I thought, oh, this is going to be done in like a month or two. But the thing is, as we are navigating our leadership journey in our personal or professional lives, the one thing that I think we have all learned the hard way, things take a lot longer than we would have thought, right? They take a lot longer than what we thought they were going to take. And so, this idea that we want to move at the speed of light, but what will we break along the way if we have this bull in a china shop? I don't care, get out of my way, throw them both. Like, sometimes we just need to be that slow and steady wins the race, right? We need to be like that because we know that we have to account for these different things going on as we transition. Something else that I think is really, really important, are you prepared? Right? Like, you're about to get married. You're about to have a significant other. And the last time you had a significant other and you were in a committed relationship was 8 years ago. You are about to embark on something new. Or you're embarking on something that you've done before, but the last time you did it, it didn't go the way that you thought it would, right? So for me, the first time that I went full time with entrepreneurship, y'all, I can't even say that I'm ashamed to say it, right? Because I'm not ashamed to say it. It's just I feel like this is the reality of many of us. So I quit my job. I had $3,000 in the bank. You know what I'm saying? I was 30 years old, and I was like, I'm rich. Like, I got this because I'm gonna make so much money that I'm not gonna have to touch this $3,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight. I'm ready. I have a plan. Within 6 months, I was back at work and I was super broke, right? Like, I was behind on my car payments. I was like, oh, I need to hide Bingo because they might try and come and get her. You know, Bingo was the name of my car. So, again, I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was, right? I just knew I was gassed up and ready, but I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. And so, here's the thing, leaders read, right? Whatever it is that you're prepping for, are there some resources where you can download some things into your mind as you calibrate your mindset, preparing you for this transition? Is there anything that you can go learn, right? Sometimes, in order to prepare for a transition, we have to teach people something. Sometimes we got to teach others to make sure that they are prepared for the transition. Is there someone we should be following as we prepare for this transition, right? And we should be kind of taking note and looking, watching, and observing to say, you know what? I really liked the way that they did this transition. Maybe I need to study under them for a little bit. What we got to do, right? And get your counsel, get your network, and get your counsel together. Who can you enlist to get the help? Yeah? So these are the things. Don't go too fast. Make sure that you are prepared and enlist your network. Talk to your counsel, talk to your Fave Five, talk to your people so that they can bring it all together and tighten it up where it's looking a little loose. There might be people in your circle who maybe they haven't done exactly what you've done, but they've done something where there's a little bit of overlap and there's some lessons learned and some best practices that they've developed that they could help you with, right? Like, okay, so maybe I don't know, I've never been divorced before, but I remember I had this boyfriend that I broke up with, and it was a mess because we were together for 15 years. We weren't married, but we had purchased a house, we had purchased cars, we had, you know, we had this and this and this together, and plus we had two kids together. And so these are some of the things that we did when we decided to go our separate ways. Granted, it's not a divorce, but these were some of the tools that we leveraged to make sure that things could be amenable between us so that we could co-parent successfully. Granted, it's not a divorce, it's not the same, there was no paperwork, but are there some tools in learning from this person in your council, this person in your Fave Five, where you're like, that makes sense, right? And sometimes maybe you're not tapping into your network or your council. Maybe you're tapping into yourself and what has happened to you previously, because perhaps in your history or her story, right? You have experienced some things where you can leverage what happened and then overlay it in a unique and innovative way to help you transition like a pro. Because here's the thing, transitions are coming. That's it. They're coming. And some of these transitions, they will be on purpose, right? If you decide to get married, that's usually not an accident, that's on purpose. If you decide to have a kid, sometimes it's an accident, sometimes it's totally on purpose, and sometimes it's a total surprise. But again, these are transitions that we can prepare for. If we want to switch careers, we can begin preparing. If we want to switch jobs, we can begin preparing. If we want to go from a direct report to a manager, we can begin preparing. But every time we transition, there's going to be a transition lag because we have to give ourselves time to adjust. But you know what makes it take 20 million times longer? The fact that we aren't ready. We didn't do what we were supposed to do. We just assumed, oh, well, I've been a direct report for 10 years. I've been praying about being a manager this whole time. And I've been like, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm really smart. I could run circles around my own manager. So I'm just ready. Count, tag me in, tag me in. But then we didn't do what we were supposed to do. And then we get into that role and we're drowning because we're not ready. What can we do to get ready as we see these transitions coming? Now, the ones that kind of zonk us over the head, well, there's that. However, because we are leaders and because we've been on this planet for a little bit, we can leverage our resources and not have to just be in the corner rocking back and forth doing the ugly cry. Leverage our resources. As lady leaders, as women, we are equipped to navigate relationships and be able to lean on the people who really have our backs and are supporting us as we transition. There's always going to be a transition lag, friends. The goal is, how do we not languish there for an unnecessary amount of time? Maybe the typical transition time is 5 months, but because we weren't ready, it's now taking 10 months. Maybe a typical transition is 18 to 24 months, but because we weren't ready, now it is 3 to 4 years. How can we speed it up? We know that there's going to be transition. We know that there's going to be a little bit of lag while we adjust. But what can we do to transition like a pro? Prepare. Don't move too quickly. Make sure that you are prepared. What do you need to read? Who do you need to teach? Who do you need to follow? And tap your network so that they can help you get where you need to be so that you can, for real, transition like a pro. That's what leaders do. And the other piece of that is just committing to the fact that this is just part of the process. When we sign that virtual leadership contract, transitioning is part of the process, and being able to figure it out and establish for you what your best practices are going to be as you get ready to navigate these changes. So let me know what you think. Go ahead and tap that little paper plane or that share button on Facebook or YouTube and share with another lady leader. And y'all, don't forget to get your newest notebook. There's never been a better time to be a lady leader than right now. That is the absolute non-negotiable. I don't care what you say. There's never been a better time. Motivational quotes on every page, stickers inside to keep you motivated and amped up, plus a 2021 and 2022 calendar so that you know what day it is and what time it is, because why? Leaders take notes. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope you feel ready to go out there and kill it. Remember, you got this. The requirement: lead from every seat you sit in. Welcome to the Elevate Collective, y'all. This is the Elevate Hour. I'm going to be in the process of revamping the show and refashioning the show to see what we gonna do. If you're not following the Elevate Collective on Instagram, please do so. And we're going to be in the process of transitioning the Facebook and getting all of those things in order because we are transitioning. but we're going to do it like a pro. And thanks for joining us on the journey. Go ahead and drop me a line. Let me know what you think. And we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all. Have an amazing day. All right, Facebook. As usual, you know you always get the last shoulder roll. Yes, shoulder roll for leadership. You all have an amazing day. I will see you soon. Bye, y'all.